Hey everyone, hey and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host, Tom Queef. Thank you so much for joining the show. Thank you so much for following us on Twitter at Battle Rap Resume. If you want to go on there, catch up with episodes that are coming up, you know, my thoughts on various things accompanied by inevitably a fire emoji. Follow us on YouTube as well. Subscribe to us there. iTunes, please leave a review on iTunes. Please, if you can, support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Battle Rap Resume. You basically get access to everything that comes on the channel first. If you want to help to give back to the show, you can get access to normally about 5-6 hours of content on there at any one time to sort of listen to. So, you know, there's stuff on there. So, yeah, thank you to everyone that is supporting at the moment and continues to support. That's on the Patreon. That's about it, really. We have a Redbubble shop if you want to pick up some Battle Rap Resume affiliated merchandise. But, you know, Don't Flop to me as an entity, obviously in the present now, it's shrunk. You know, it's effectively nothing at the time of us recording this. No one knows the sort of direction of, you know, what's going to happen with this thing. But there was a time when I was getting into it, when some would argue when it was in its largest, most popular phase, the sort of 2012, you know, I guess a little bit earlier than that, you know, the sort of Grist, the Blizzard, you know, Luna, you know what I'm talking about, that sort of era. And, you know, I think one of the strengths of Don't Flop by then was it felt big. You know, often there were lots of people involved. There were graphics at the start that would tell you about people that weren't on camera, but, you know, were the crew, you know, your Bagnalls, etc., your Krugers, your Bentlegs. And, like, I'm so honoured, man, in the same way that you have, like, these pictures of these mafiosos, these legends of the past. Like, for you to have been on that early Don't Flop screen, you remember when you all popped up and, and like your Twitter handles and stuff, man. You know, you were part of a big deal back then.
Yeah, it felt cool, man. It felt cool at the time. I was like, whoa, there's me. What am I doing on the internet? Do you know what I mean? Why am I here?
Well, Bentlegs, you know, doesn't matter why you are here. It's great to have you on the show, man. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for asking, man. I appreciate it. Sorry it took a while to get back, but it's one of them, innit? But, yeah, appreciate it.
No, of course, man. And, you know, I say that sincerely, like the intro and stuff, like, you know, you were part of this thing. And I guess before we get into the sort of meat of it, like, how would you define what you did for Don't Flop in a professional capacity?
What did I do for that? At the time, I kind of called myself, I think, like a thing doer. I think right. I was like, my bio on Twitter was like thing doer at Don't Flop. Because I started out doing like the blogs and stuff.
Right.
And then it kind of went from that into, you know, helping at events, helping organise events, get in touch with battlers, set stuff up, running my own event. Like I ended up putting an event on in Liverpool and ended up battling. I just kind of did stuff for Don't Flop. Do you know what I mean? Like, just anything that needed doing that kind of didn't fit in the remit of like designing or being a camera guy. I just kind of had my fingers in many battle rap pies, so to speak.
Yeah, it was all going on, really, and it was interesting to see there. Like, you don't really see people like that in any... I mean, I guess you could argue Callum Martin, to a certain extent, you know, a sort of advisor, to a certain extent, a facilitator, you know, but not a consigliere in a sort of mafia term, you know, but not... not
I'm loving these mafia links. I could get used to that.
I've made 2 in succession. I don't really know why. I promise there won't be a third. But no, like, you know, with what you were doing though, how I guess let's go back a bit further then. Like battle rap, how did you become aware of it?
Like years and years ago. Like one of my best mates, he's like one of my mate's older brothers, and he's always been like my go-to guy for hip hop. He knows everything about everything, and he's heard of people that, you know, I'll never have or will hear of again and stuff. And he kind of got me like randomly listening to like Supernatural versus Juice and stuff like that, like years and years ago. And then, you know, I'd be lying if I said Eminem didn't have a bit of an influence and stuff like that. You know, we all kind of went through that phase of watching 8 Mile coming out the cinema and kind of being like, yeah, I'm going to be a battle rapper now.
You saw 8 Mile at the cinema. That's great.
Yeah, I'm old, mate. I'm old. I'm older than people think.
Right.
I'm cool with that, but yeah, I saw 8 Mile at the cinema. I saw Eminem live actually in 2001. Back when the I don't know if anyone old enough, you know, was actually listening, but when he kind of came over to Britain, it was like really controversial. He come out with a hockey mask and he had this like mad video intro with a chainsaw, and he come out with this chainsaw and apparently did pills on stage and all the like. It was on the news and stuff like that. So when was the last time like somebody coming over to do a gig was on the news, other than, you know, it's, like these big mainstream sort of like festival sort of things. But yeah, it was on the news. It was being picketed. There were like religious people outside offering donuts if you don't go in. So it's just like, it was mad. It's like, yeah, I'll just take a donut and go in anyway. But yeah, I saw Eminem in 2001, and I was 16 at the time. So yeah, there you go. That's how old I am.
Yeah, I'll let the viewers do the mental calculations there. But I get what you're saying. Eminem at that time, he did have a danger to him that he kind of lacks. Like, he just recently, I think he headlined Reading and Leeds, and I watched most of it, and it's just a bit reheated compared to the like dynamite he was.
Yeah, like, I mean, no one could ever knock him because he's one of the best ever. But I just kind of think that he's just kind of gone. I don't know, like. His crowd has changed. Music in general has changed. He's been around a long time. Do you know what I mean? He's been around a good 20 odd years now. So obviously things are going to change a bit. And I think it's just a case of like wanting to cling on a little bit for us older fans that kind of like his older stuff, kind of want to cling on to that a little bit. But, he's doing tunes with Rihanna, and was that Skylar Grey was her name or something? Yeah. Where he was like, but I want to ride my bicycle and stuff. It's not quite... You know what I mean?
It's not infinite. It's not like, No. I don't know. Like, I still kind of rate what he does. I just don't think it's aimed at me anymore. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like 32-year-old dudes. There we go. That's all down. 32-year-old dudes don't buy records anymore. Do you know what I mean? We're not the target audience. But I didn't see him at Leeds or Reading because I think he request that like the BBC don't show it or something.
Yeah, it was. There's a vlogger actually, a Rob Kellis, who's like a I don't know if he's got like, I want to shout him out actually just because he's got like 6,000-7,000 subscribers. I follow him on YouTube. He's actually really good. He's just kind of like a mid-20s Leeds guy who just sort of does lad stuff, but it's quite funny. It's quite endearing. But anyway, he went to that festival, Best Camp, and he had loads of footage in it, so I saw a lot of it there. And then there are other streams about, but it's funny you mention Eminem because Eminem inevitably always comes up because he has a very battle-y kind of. I mean, he was at early kind of freestyle events, and so it's no surprise really. He came from that sort of that route. But I mean, going forward, like, Don't Flop, like, so how long had Don't Flop been around until you actually joining? So was it new?
So I joined. When did I join? I think I joined, well, like officially, I think like the very beginning of 2012. So it'd been around a couple of years. I've been into it a couple of years, basically like a dude I know that knows I kind of like rap and stuff like that. I like a lot of music. The way I know him is actually through hardcore.
Right.
But obviously there's a big like crossover between hardcore and rap and grime and stuff, and a lot of the fans like both. And he was like, "Oh, check this dude out, you'll love him." Because like I'm a big Everton fan. And he was like, "Oh, he's one of your boys, it's O'Shea. Check out O'Shea on YouTube." So I did. And I was just like, yeah, this dude is the funniest person ever. And then I went from there. I started looking into more and more battles. And then the next thing I knew, I started, because I was doing journalism at the time, and I was kind of bored of being told what to write and writing, like, because I had to do like a placement for like a local newspaper. And like, big up any journalist that's had to go through that, because that is the worst job in the world. Like, you get these press reports, like when bands have a new album out and they send their press reports like The Guardian and NME. Well, like when schools go on a skiing trip, like posh schools go on a skiing trip, they'll hit up the local newspaper and be like, "Oh, Jemima went down the black slope without any help. Well done." And you're just like, "Oh, come on, man." Yeah. And like argument, like the most heated debates ever, and it's over like moving a bus stop 40 yards down a road to let a disabled parking space go where it was or something. And it's just the most tedious thing ever. And I just thought, right, I need to write about something that I like doing or that I'm interested in. So I thought, do you know what? I've not seen like a decent battle rap blog before. So I'll start one. And I think it was called like, what did I call it? Something cheesy. It was like BENTLEGS Battle Blog. Right. Or something like that. And
catchy.
At the time, that 3 Bs. I'm into my alliteration and stuff.
Yeah. Forget BRR. It was BBB.
Yeah, BBB. That was it, the original. And at the time, I was kind of like battle rap was kind of big on social media, but in a different way to it is now, because it was like the pre-Viewpoint days and stuff like that. And I think kind of wrote something on my Facebook wall once that he's probably going to regret writing now, but it was like, "You're my favorite battle rap fan comment writer ever," or something like that, because I kept writing like, you know, like funny jokes and bits and bobs and stuff like that. And then I kind of, after that, I just kind of hit him up, because I'd spoken to him at a couple of events, because I'd been to a few events in like Manchester, Leeds. I think I'd been to two in Manchester, one in Leeds at that point. I just kind of hit him up and said, "Look, I'm doing this blog. Do you like it?" And he was like, "Yeah, cool. Do you want to do it for us and have a look at the website and kind of get a bit involved and stuff?" So I was like, "Yeah, sweet. Sounds good." And then that was probably, I've gone well off the point there, haven't I? Yeah, January, I reckon, like January 2012, because that peak battle was in April. So it would have been, like December, January that year. So it'd been around a couple of years, but not too long.
And had you been to many events prior to this?
I've been to a few. I went to what was my first? I went to the tryout event that Luna battled Mickey Worthless at.
Right.
That was mad, because it was a tryout event, and I think the other battle. What was the other battle? Matter and Pamphlet was at that event.
Yes, yeah.
The rest was just all tryouts, and I think of all those tryouts, I think the only one who kind of really did anything was Zen. I think Zen tried out at that, and I think there was some other dude, I think it was called Synapse, who was like, he was in with, what's that crew? What are that crew called in Leeds that Matter and all them are in at the time, and they used to do like freestyle battles and freestyle sessions and stuff.
Right, yeah, I know, it's escaped me at the moment, but yeah.
Yeah, the one where they got into a bit of trouble with Chris Fountain was in it. And
yes, yeah. What that's people are screaming at the podcast at the moment, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking. Oh, is that Dub Y?
Dub Y, yeah, the WY podcast and Dub Y freestyles and stuff. And I think Synapse was his name was. He was in with them. He was quite good, but he didn't really kind of go anywhere after that. I think Zen was the only one who kind of really did much at all. I think a couple of them were fucking awful, if I remember correctly. A couple were good, but the event was mad, because there were people, like, we got there, like I went with my brother lives in Sheffield. Well, I live in Sheffield now, but my brother lived in Sheffield at the time, and we kind of just got the train over and thought it would be, just 40 or 50 people in there, but it's like hundreds of people queuing up all the way up the road, and it was like, I don't even know if we're going to get in here. Do you know what I mean? We're that far back in the queue.
Crazy, man. What else did you see? Can you think of any big battles that you witnessed to at these early stages?
Yeah, Shotty versus Disciple.
Oh, nice. Oh, shit.
Yeah, Shotty versus Disciple. That was cool. That was at I can't remember the name of the venue. It was in Manchester, like this cool venue. I think they had a few events at that one. And it's in this like upstairs little room, and some good battles that day. I think that was Jack Flash's debut as well. But yeah, Shotty versus Disciple. I can't think off the top of my head what else I saw before I kind of joined. It's all kind of merged into one. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just kind of, because I've been to that many events and seen that many live battles. Do you know what I mean? Like, I posted something recently. Like, I kind of had like a bit of a rekindling moment a couple of months ago, and I was like, I'm going to watch a load of old battles that I've not seen in a while. And they pop up on your suggested on the side of YouTube.
Constant, yeah.
Yeah, and one popped up, and I was like, I don't remember that happening. I'll watch that. And then turns out I judged it, didn't I?
Right.
I was like, even all the way through, none of it's familiar. And I popped up on the judge, and I was like, oh, fuck, maybe I've seen this before.
Yeah, but, you were. It was interesting because you were in the judging a lot, which I guess is how most people knew you, as well as those title cards. And you seemed to like gauge comments which seemed to suggest incorrectly that you were like high on drugs.
Yeah, do you know what? Like, I never really called anything out at the time because I found it too funny. Because the irony, like, I don't know if not many people know this. I've actually been straight edge since I was 18.
Right.
So I've been straight edge for like 14 years. I've literally never done drugs. I don't drink. I don't smoke. And I just thought it was funny. It's like, I'm not on drugs. I've literally just got a chewing gum in my mouth, and Bagnall's light on his camera is like a fucking floodlight. And he's like a foot away from my face, and I've got like big eyes. Like, do you know what I mean? So everyone always thought I was on drugs, and I just thought, fuck it, it's funny.
Yeah,
it's funny.
yeah.
It's funny because it's funnier because it's not true. I think if I was, I'd be like, no, don't say that. Do you know what I mean? But like, no, I just thought it was funny when I used to see all these, BENTLEGS is on drugs, he's rolling. I seen him at an event and he looked high as fuck, and it's like, I didn't know, did I? Well, I might have looked it, but I wasn't. So, but yeah, it used to make me laugh, man. BENTLEGS is on drugs. Every battle, like it'd go up and they'd be. I remember seeing one and it's like, haven't even seen the judging, but BENTLEGS is on drugs.
Right.
Like, people in there before I'm even on screen. But yeah, it used to make me laugh. That was a good one.
And so you are a judge, you are a massive part of this. It must have been crazy then, because you were there at that kind of initial, blaze of glory to a certain extent when it started to get really popular. Tryout videos are getting 50k or whatever. Everyone's watching because of Luna, because of Mark Grist. Like, did you feel that it was becoming a movement? Or
do you know what? Yeah, at the time I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And I knew it was crazy when like people in my hometown, because where I'm from is like this shitty little town in North Wales, kind of near the border, near Chester, and like not many people there kind of really listen to much or kind of do a great deal outside of that town in general. And like random people would just come up to me and be like, oh, have you seen this battle? Have you seen this battle? I'm like, what? You're watching battles now? That's cool. And that's when I kind of knew, right, this is getting big. And then I'd get all like the funny stuff like, have you seen this battle? It's like, yeah, I judged it. Clearly you didn't watch it to the end. Like, right. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, that's when I kind of realized. And when we were going to events and like the people like were queuing up, like I think it was to the Test 10,
right?
Was in Leeds, and it was like that's like the best event ever in my eyes. Like so many good battles and such a good vibe, and people were there apparently from like 4 or 5 in the morning because there was like 50 tickets on the door or something like that, and people were queuing, and it was snowing, and people were queuing in the snow, and like so many things happened that weekend that were just like it was just like I think that was like a pinnacle moment in British battle rap that weekend. It was unreal. It was amazing.
Yeah. I think the atmosphere there. Obviously, you have like your 4th birthday, which is kind of that era, but that's got more of a staging. But this one is in such a tight venue. There's so many stars on stage. I think it was like a 14+ crowd, wasn't it, as well, which is probably in their benefit. Yeah,
because at the time, a lot of like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not disrespecting it in any way, but a lot at the time was battles of people calling each other's mums fat slags and making fart jokes and all these kind of things that are inherently funny to teenagers, as as well as adults, obviously. But like teenagers were kind of getting into it at the time. I mean, they're the people that now. I mean, some people in that crowd could be battlers now. I don't know, but like, some of them now have kind of grown up looking at that era of battling as their like entrant level, which is amazing. Like. And just to see battles live is amazing. Like if you see battles live compared to, sometimes you watch a battle live and you're like, oh, that was so good. You watch it on video and like, I thought it was better live than I remember. And sometimes the other way around. Sometimes being in the venue, you kind of miss certain things, especially if it's like, like a bars heavy sort of thing where you'll be like, oh shit, I didn't get that reference. I get it now. That's cool. Probably should have paid more attention when I was judging, but there we go. But like, yeah, like that Leeds event was full of like so many cool, like it's so cool seeing like loads of different like people in the crowd as well, because it wasn't hip hop orientated as much as the shows seem to be.
Yeah.
I mean, so like I remember talking to some dude outside because he had like I think he had a Sick of It All t-shirt on. Which is like this New York hardcore band for anyone that like doesn't know, and I've got like a Sick of It All tattoo and stuff like that, and I got talking to this dude, I was like, I never thought I'd be talking about Sick of It All at like a battle rap venue, and like that's what I kind of liked at the time. It was like so eclectic, and I think that's why it was so popular at the time, because people that weren't specifically like hip hop fans were into it, because at the time the quality was so high and so many. Like the sheer number of good battles and good battlers at the time was massive. So there was like 3 or 4 releases a week. There was like a constant stream of good stuff coming out. I think that's why it became as popular as it did at the time. Because that crossover appeal for a lot of people.
No, completely. And it's wild, isn't it? Like, obviously I'm a fan of all the sort of eras and stuff, but you kind of have to accept that this is when battle rap was its biggest. It was huge.
It was massive. It was huge at the time, and I think that it was one of them at the time. Like, I think everybody involved could kind of see that it was, you know, onto something. Do you know what I mean? Like, battle rap in general was on the cusp of, no one quite knew what at the time.
Yeah.
I still don't think anyone quite knows what, but like it was like there's just something about it. It had like an aura almost around it at the time of like, it was cool, it's funny. I mean, like, who doesn't like two dudes shouting at each other and having like a funny argument that rhymes? Like, at the time it was so appealing and so fresh, and I don't know, at the time it's just mad. Like, you could see, but no one kind of knew what. Like, everyone was like, oh, how far is this going to go? Is it going to become like mainstream? Is it going to become, you know, is it going to end up on TV? Is it going to end up in films? I mean, it is now, you know, with this bodied film that's coming out and stuff. But like, it was exciting. It was like exciting at the time. Like, events were such a buzz, and everybody involved, from like the fans to the battlers to the staff, knew that at the time. That this is mint. This is so good. So yeah, like, it was a weird time, but it was a good time. Do you know what I mean?
And you were writing a lot of the Don't Flop blog then at this time.
Yeah, the good old days. I used to write.
It's not online anymore. Are you aware of that?
No, I didn't know that. Is it not online?
Because,
do you know, I don't even know the login anymore. So it's probably just expired. I don't think it's been updated in a long time.
Yeah, I think you're right, because I can't remember the episode. We did an episode a while ago, and for some reason I mentioned it, and I found it on the it's don'tflopblog.wordpress.com. And,
that was it, yeah.
You know, it had tons of stuff. I think I went on it for the Pete Cashmore episode, actually, when I was, funnily enough, doing research for that.
Yeah. I remember you mentioning it in that episode. So
yeah. It must have been, yeah. And now I've went back, and none of the articles that I could once sift through are there. It's completely empty. What a shame. But
I can't remember most of them. I remember a few. There was a couple that I did that I was quite proud of at the time.
What wasn't there one? You went to the Norwich event, didn't you?
I went to the Norwich event. Yeah. That was where I ended up agreeing to battle Pete.
Right.
It was in the Norwich event was mad. It was like a good event.
It was a great event, yeah.
Yeah. Did you go? Were you at that one?
No, but I just remember it fondly. Like, you Pamphlet Bowski, you had Grist and Mixie versus Pedro and Pamphlet as well.
Oh God, yeah. When
that wheelchair line.
That dude in the wheelchair, that was it, yeah. But that event was mad because it was in literally like this little I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a social club. How we walked in, and it was like Phoenix Nights kind of vibe, and there was like this mad stage of like smoke stained drapes all over it and like tinsel and stuff like that, and it was just like, whoa, this is mad. And but even there, like in like Norwich, that was the same, if I remember correctly, that was the same weekend as Don't Flop put like a grime night on with like various different DJs and stuff, and it had like live event battles and live battle events part of that, but it's just like freestyles. It was just like, it wasn't anything particularly. If anyone remembers the video, that's where it was Pedro versus Bagnall's car, and like Pedro, because there was like 6 of us and 5 car seats, right. And Pedro ended up in the boot all weekend. Like wherever we went out to this like guy's house. I say house, he lived in like a caravan in the woods, right? Because that's whose sound system we were using for the event. And he was this DJ in the woods, and it was like, right, okay, this is a bit creepy. He's like, yeah, follow the lane and then turn right here and whatever. And we got there, and he was like, this dude had like a gun-shaped ashtray, and he was just like, he goes, yeah, this is my my caravan. He was a cool guy, don't get me wrong, but it was just weird. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Yeah, a caravan in Norwich with this dude who's like lending us these mad speakers. I mean, he drew loads of sick drawings. That's it. He was like a really good artist. And we went in. He goes, "Oh, this is my drawing room," and it was like this little room that had like pictures everywhere. And on the easel, like in the middle of the room, with like a spotlight on it, was just like a massive drawing of her. And he walked in, and he like looked at him, and like her looked at me like to go, "Yeah, this is a bit odd." And he's like, "Oh, do you want it?" He's like, "Yeah, okay, cool, thanks." It was like, yeah, like Norwich is like, Norfolk in general is like a mad county.
Right.
And I've been a couple of times, and every time I've gone, it's been weird. And that Norwich event was weird. It was fun, but weird in a good way. Like, I quite like it. I quite like Norwich. It's cool.
Yeah. No, people need to go back and check out that event. It does have that sort of, grim British wallpaper to it, and it's just kind of in a square room as well. It's kind of
it's on like the dance floor of this social club thing. We had to move all the chairs out the way when we got in there, and it was like, you know what I mean? When you bear in mind later that same year, it was in the fourth birthday event was the same year.
Yes.
And you're like looking at this like stage in the middle of all these people in like the middle of London with the spotlight and all these international battlers, and then you just kind of think, oh, cool. Like earlier this year, we were in Phoenix Nights in the middle of Norfolk with some dude in the cabin in the woods. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like it was a mad time, but it was a fun one as well. Like there's a lot of funny stories from that kind of era.
And it was a mad time in terms of popularity. In terms of views. What was the blog getting? Was it getting some decent readership?
Yeah, like I remember seeing some, and I was like, I think the one that did the best. I did one that I can't remember what it was called, but it was like about how like Don't Flop is my soap,
right?
And how like like all the girls have their Coronation Street in their. Their EastEnders and Hollyoaks and all that sort of stuff, and like people have like the wrestling, like I know a lot of people that like follow wrestling and stuff, and they're like, yeah, it's just like my soap.
Yeah,
I put it on each week. This has happened. This because like the more you watch it, the more you get into it, the more you kind of follow storylines as such. Do you know what I mean? Like not storylines, but stuff will happen in one battle that'll get referenced in another. They'll get referenced in another, and then there'll be a comeback in 5-6 events down the line. It's kind of taking this story arc sort of thing. It was kind of mad because there were so many events at the time. They were like every few weeks there was like a big event.
Yeah. So
it became like an ongoing saga sort of thing. But that one I remember at the time I put it out and it got like a couple of 100 views in the first day or two. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then like randomly it kind of spiked to about like 6,000 or 7,000 views or something daft like that. And I was like, what, 6,000 or 7,000 people, whatever it was. I was like, what the fuck are they reading my blog about?
Right.
About this soap about dudes arguing. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it was cool. Like it was a cool little thing, the blog at the time. And then there was a few others that did quite well as well. I remember I did like an interview with Mickey Worthless that really popped. I think that's mainly because he was so popular at the time.
Oh yeah.
And he had like a big following and stuff on Twitter, so he put it out, and then it just boosted, which helped me, obviously. And the blog kind of got popular when Pete joined.
Yeah.
It was quite cool being like the editor and having Pete working for me because, he's like written for, like he used to write for Hip Hop Connection, like the biggest UK hip hop magazine ever. R.I.P. He used to write for Razzle. Was it Razzle?
Right.
Or Playboy? He used to write for some porno mag anyway. Like he used to write for porn, which I wish I knew when I battled him, which I didn't find out till later. So yeah, and I was like, yeah, is this really like well established countdown champion, wordy guy, and I'm literally still studying for my journalism qualification, and I'm going to stay his boss, and it's not changing. I'm not swapping around. I just thought it was funny at the time. But his like battle blogs did really well for the most part, and that was cool. It was a cool time having like because random people had hit me up and like, yo, I want to do this blog, and then I suppose basically like it was kind of similar in a way to kind of what you do with like podcasts, just on a much smaller scale. Like certain people would hit me up and be like, oh, I want to do this blog about this, I want to do this blog about that, and then you'd kind of tell them, and then they okay, and then they just kind of never come through with it a lot of the time. But we did ones with like we got like Ash, who's this fan from Manchester who's gay, and he wrote about being a gay battle rap fan,
right? Okay.
Which is quite cool, and that did really well. I'm assuming it kind of went through the like the gay scene a little bit.
Sure.
In a way, I don't know.
What?
I don't know, but it did quite well. And that was quite an interesting take. And then there was like girls writing like, I'm not offended by people talking about rape and fisting bitches or whatever examples they were using and stuff. But yeah, it was quite like a little. It became like quite a cool little
eclectic.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, please, dear listener, if you know a way of recovering these somewhere, go on the don'tflopblog.wordpress.com, because like you say, there was some great stuff on there, and from an archivist, historian, battle nerd point of view, it is interesting as an archaeologist. But I wanted to I wanted to ask you about something that I'm not being boastful, but I think this is something that only like a few people in the battle rap world know. Not it's on camera, but not many people have seen Lyrical T versus D-Side lyrics.
Oh man.
Yeah. I just want to say I know about this battle because there's a video I did on the channel quite a while ago. Check it out. Top 10 most disliked Don't Flop demo battles.
Oh, no way. Was that one of the worst?
Yes, yeah. So you put it in this website and it shows you the top 10 most disliked videos on that channel, and this was the 4th most disliked.
Wow, that's bad.
So D-Side lyrics, he was a guy that like your mate was battling, or
yeah, like the D-Side is the name of where I'm from.
Sure.
Like it's D-Side. It's on the side of the D.
Right. Pause.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to pause things, man. I don't in battle rap anymore. I don't pause things all the time. I'm not used to it. But yeah, it's on the side of the D, the River D.
Right.
And it's like a couple of little towns, and like collectively they're known as D-Side because they all kind of blend into one big shithole. And that's where he's from. Well, he's not even from there. He's actually a Scouser that moved there and calls himself D-Side Lyrics. And he's a cool guy, man. Like he's still doing music and stuff. He still does like grime, and he's always doing bits and bobs. He battled quite a lot. He ended up going on what was Cron's league called?
Words of Weapons.
Yeah, he went on there a few times, and he got better. So there's that.
But the thing is, though, obviously, I know you associate with it because you're in shot for the entirety of his performance.
Ah, I am, aren't I?
And like he's delivering. Well, he's wearing a gold medal for some reason.
Do you know what? He wears weird shit all the time.
Right.
Like I saw him wearing. He always wears like blue. Is he wearing a blue tracksuit or something?
Yeah, he's wearing a blue and a blue cap.
He's always wearing like these mad shiny blue Adidas tracksuits, like he's in some sort of Run DMC video. Right. And like he attaches like stuff to the zip, and that like I like him, man, because he doesn't care. Like he just does stuff because he thinks it's funny. And like I don't know why he wore a medal. Was it the Olympics 2012? Yeah, it would have been the Olympics.
I guess,
yeah. So I mean, he didn't compete in the Olympics, so I don't know why he had a medal on. But, and he didn't win a battle, let alone an Olympic gold medal.
Yeah.
But, there we go.
Yeah.
It's not many people know about that battle.
No, exactly. So I want to draw people
for said reasons.
Draw people's attention to it. It sits alongside such classics as Anton Murphy's debut. The most disliked Don't Flop demo battle, you'd be surprised to hear, is Mickey Worthless versus Briggsy.
Really?
Yeah, I guess a lot of people wouldn't have guessed that, but for some reason that was number one.
No, I wouldn't put that. That wouldn't have entered my head as being disliked at all. Really. I mean, I can't remember much of it off the top of my head.
No,
I don't remember it being that bad.
I mean, obviously you went to a lot of events subsequently and before staff as well. Like one of the things that I found when I go to events myself is quite interesting, where you have the tryout battle that's kind of shit and never gets released, but you but like you see it happen. It's odd, isn't it?
Yeah, it's even worse when you have to judge it, man.
Oh yeah.
When you're judging battles, and sometimes you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, but don't get me wrong. Like, I respect anybody that gets up there and does that, and lots of people who are good battlers have had really shit battles in the past, and some people have had terrible tryouts that have gone on to be quite good and stuff like that. But there are battles that when you see live and you're just like, oh, this is not good. And then you've got to kind of, especially when you're judging it, you've got to try and find something sort of constructive to say. And like, well, you haven't got to, but I'm a nice person, so I try and find something. And it can be quite difficult sometimes. Like, but yeah, it's funny. It's I prefer it when they put those videos out. Like, I like watching them back in like a. I like shit telly and shit films and stuff like that. Like, and it's the same sort of thing.
There's a lot of shit battling,
Yeah, let's watch these shit battles. It'll be funny. Like, do you know what I mean? But like, there's nothing more awkward than watching a shit battle live. Like, well, there are probably things more awkward.
Well, I mean,
awkward in battles, but
sure.
being in a shit battle live.
Speaking
from experience, that is also awkward. But like, watching a battle live when it's really shit is so awkward, especially if it's in like a dead venue or somewhere. Like I remember there was a battle in the graffiti tunnel. I think Pete Cashmore talked about it, but I think he kind of got it confused because I think he said it was like Emergency versus Kets.
Okay.
And I remember they did battle, but it wasn't at that event in the graffiti tunnel. It was Kets or Emerge, one of the two. They're both ginger. I can't remember which one's which. Battled a Byron from Manchester.
Okay.
And it was really, really awkward because there's not that many people there. There's like 20 or 30 people. Both choked loads. Then Kets freestyled and stuff. And then, that was it. Kets battled, but Emerge was there. And I gave the battle to Byron. And afterwards, like, all the Kets' boys were like all over YouTube. Like, I think it's only got a couple of thousand views. It's not a big battle at all. But like a lot of the comments were like slagging the judges off, me in particular. Like, oh, he freestyled an entire round, so how come he doesn't win? It's like, yeah, but it doesn't mean it's good just because he choked and freestyled and it was bad doesn't mean he won the battle because it was freestyle. It doesn't work like that. Do you know what I mean? I think Flex Digits judged it with me because we kept looking at each other through the battle, and I think he just kind of said, "I'm giving that to Byron. Word of the day: preparation," and that was it. And that was like his judging. It's something like that. It's something along those lines. And I used to love judging with Flex, man. He was so funny. But yeah, like those awkward battles are quite splendid. They're brilliant and shit in equal measure. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're a fan of like trashy B movies and stuff like that, then watch some shit battles because it's great. Some of the lyrics and bars and stuff that are so bad that you're just like, yes, it's that bad that it's impressive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like absurdist. Like it's kind of it's when you look at it like that. Yeah, but I mean, so you're in battling in terms of doing the blog and whatever associated thing doer, as you say. Like, how did it come about for you to battle Pete Cashmore?
I think I was that Norwich event. I was staying at Er's house in Norwich, and with like Mickey was there. There's a couple of us. Liam was there, and like they just kind of said, "Oh, you should do a battle. You should do a battle." And I was like, "Well, I'm not a rapper. Like, do you know what I mean?" They're like, "Yeah, but it'll be funny." And I just kind of went, "Yeah, okay." Like it was just kind of like yeah, but it'll be funny. Yeah, okay. Like when you're a kid and like, do this. No, that's going to hurt. Yeah, but do it. It'd be funny. So you do it anyway. It was like that sort of thing. And like, I kind of thought, well, actually, if I'm writing about it and I'm being asked judging opinions on it, I should probably have some experience in it myself. Because once you've battled, when you view battles differently from that point onwards. So it was kind of like this weird gonzo journalism sort of thing. And I never thought it would become like a regular thing, or I didn't think it'd be anywhere near as popular as it ended up being, which was kind of surreal. Yeah. But so then like I was talking to Pete and he was saying like, oh, I want a battle, it's on my bucket list. I think we were at some bar after that Norwich event, because we kind of like we went from the Norwich event to like I think it was Pizza Express in Norwich, and there was about 30 of us. And it's like, oh yeah, can I have a table for 30, please? Just like off the whim. And they ended up like moving the whole restaurant round just so all us lot could get in. There's loads of people there. And like Pete was talking, and I think he was talking to like ZT and Boski or some random thing like that. And I heard him saying it. Then we went to this bar afterwards, and it was just like a chill sort of thing. And he just kind of said like, oh, I really want to battle. It's on my bucket list. And I went, battle me. Like I just kind of said it before I thought it, and he went, "All right, yeah." And I kind of went over to her and leaned over, said in his ear, "I went, why don't I battle Pete Cashmore?" And his eyes kind of lit up, and he looked at me and he goes, "Yeah, let's do it at April Fools." So we kind of did, and I think that was in like, I don't know, like end of February. I think Pete said it was like the beginning of January, and I don't think it was. We didn't have 4 months to prepare at all. We had about 8 weeks or something. And you look like a grey-haired version of Beaker from the Muppets. And if anyone doesn't know which one that is, it's the one that says me a lot. And if anyone's ever read his blogs, he talks about me a lot. Right, I've got some advice for you, mate. If you're driving your car to a retail park to go buy a bra, cut it in half, throw away the left part, put what's left on your head like the right tit you are. Yeah, and then it just kind of went from there. So it was like that event in Norwich, kind of where the thing kind of got put into place, and then it all became very real very quickly because Pete kind of took it a lot more seriously than I did from the off. And he was like, oh, he'd like text me like, oh, I've written like 3 rounds already. And I was like, I've written your name on a piece of paper. Like,
what was the writing process like though? Because obviously you've written tons before, so you're not a newbie in that sense. But writing bars, did it come easy or?
It came kind of easy because they're not very good or intricate, are they? Do you know what I mean? So, like, it's not like I was writing, like, oh, let's do, like, a 16-bar scheme with, like, a quadruple multi at the end with a big build-up to this. I was just literally doing it in 2 bars, mostly single syllables, stuff that I found kind of funny. And, like, I didn't have a writing process as such where I was like, right, I'm going to sit and I'm going to write a round. I was literally, like, walking around and I'd think of something funny and I'd save it in my phone. I'll think of just 2 words that rhymed and put them in my phone, and then I'd make like a practical observation. I'd be like, actually, it looks a bit like a wonky Stephen Merchant. I'll put that down, and then, do you know what I mean? Like all these random things, and then it kind of all came together a couple of weeks, but like say a week or 2 before the battle, I kind of ordered everything. About the gun bar round, obviously, I literally sat and thought about gun bars for that one because Pete messaged me and he was like, "Should we do gun bars?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He said like as like an ode to Scissors and Wizard, because I think that's his favourite battle of all time. And I thought, yeah, go on then, that'll be funny. He kind of ruined that for me though, because I kind of thought it'd be funnier if he didn't announce at the beginning of his round.
Sure.
Like if he just came out and just did a round of gun bars, how funny would that have been? And then like everyone would have been finding that funny, and then I went second, and then I come out with a round of gun bars. Everyone was like, what the fuck are these guys? But he kind of announced it, and I was like, don't announce it, just go into it. And then he announced it anyway.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been funny if he never, but yeah, that was Pete's idea, and it worked. It worked for him because I think the general consensus is that he won that round. But
he did. He did win that round. But I mean, you know, in terms of the battle itself, it helpfully opens up with an interview with both of you. You predict what he's going to say. You say he's going to talk about your mom, your girlfriend. He's going to talk about the fact about in the works at Nuts magazine. Are you predicting that?
Yeah, I did. I called it pretty spot on. Yeah. And he even brought out Nuts magazines as props and stuff like that, didn't he? So, yeah, I quite like that interview at the beginning. I think that was a cool idea.
Yeah.
If it's done, it's short and sweet. Not like, you know, you don't want a 15-minute interview at the beginning, but like, you know, for what it was as well, I think it kind of introduced us a little bit more. Sure. Because no one knew who we were. Like, well, people knew who we were. They knew Pete was like the tall old dude that had a pint of wine and was like laughing loud over the top of loads of battles in Brighton and London. And people kind of knew me from like lurking in the background and judged 1 or 2 battles at that point. Right. But like, I think it kind of introduced us that little bit that kind of made it a little bit easier for newbie watchers or people that first, you know, seen us for the first time. But I quite like that idea. I think they should have done that more. Yeah,
I agree. It helps to set up a context for new viewers, and it's just interesting as returning ones as well. The sort of wrestling idea to a certain extent, the storyline.
Yeah, like shooting a promo. That battle that needs more promos, more shooting promos.
It definitely does. Yeah. And you know, what about you at events? Were you getting like recognised? People like, oh god, it's BENTLEGS, like.
Yeah, that was weird. Because like I, you know. I never really thought of myself as like, I did think of myself as part of Don't Flop, but like, I'm not like, you know, hosting, I'm not battling, I'm literally just kind of giving a bizarre opinion at the end of who I think won. And that was pretty much it. So like getting recognized at events was like, the weirdest one to get recognized at was, Vendetta in LA.
Right.
Was like, I was like, what? Because we went there and like Liam had gone mad early because he was filming, so he went to set up, and Aaron Kruger were kind of going over their bars in their room and getting themselves ready, sort of thing. And then Impact, Natural, and Enigma were kind of just drinking. I think they just kind of went to a bar somewhere, and I was like, oh, I kind of really want to get there early because like I'm in LA for like the biggest battle rap event at the, you know, of all time. At that point, it was like so anticipated. I was like, I want to get there early, so I'd kind of joined the queue, like, you know, some battle rap nerd, and like there, you know, standing there on my own. And it was a girl, actually. This girl turned around and was like, "Oh, are you British? Blah, blah, blah. Are you here with her?" And I was like, yeah. She goes, "Oh my God, you're BENTLEGS. I saw your battle. That was funny." And I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
Why am I being recognised in LA of all places? I mean, admittedly, it's at an event, but still, like, I didn't think that anybody outside of the UK would have seen it, but they did, and that was quite cool. That was really cool.
I mean, cool, you're out of Vendetta anyway, like, mad event.
That was mad, yeah. Like, like, it was like a mad, because it was quite last minute. Aaron Kruger being added to that lineup. It was. I think they were confirmed like a couple of weeks before, and it was announced like 2 weeks before. And it was like, I remember because it was a Monday night. I used to play football every Monday night, and I kind of finished football and I looked at my phone and I had a message from her, and it said, "Come to LA, you fassie." And I was like. So I messaged him, like, I was like, "What are you on about?" He's like, "Yeah, come to LA." So I was like, "When?" He was like, "I think it was like that Thursday, that week." And I was like, "Oh shit, you mean, right, okay." Yeah. So like, "Can I afford to do this? Right, let's have a quick look. I'll get back to you." He's like, "Oh, just do it." So I did. And then I kind of got the train down to London the day before and off we flew. And there I am in LA, like thinking, how am I in LA? I'm not meant to be in LA, let alone, you know, for that event in particular. It was crazy. It was good. It was amazing. It was an amazing time. But yeah, it was
Diz
mad.
versus Cannabis?
Bizarre. Fucking bizarre. Because, like, it was what was funny, because, like, it started off, and, like, if you're watching the video, you can kind of pick up on it. But in the room, people were really overreacting at the time. As soon as, like, Cannabis started speaking, because there were a lot of Cannabis fans there. You know, like just walking around, not watching any battles, just waiting for him with like Rip the Jacket t-shirts on and stuff. And when he started, and it was like talking about like Tom Cruise mom shoes and stuff, you can see like everyone that's kind of associated, really. Like if you look at like Organic and people like that, for the most part, they're all kind of like, okay. Right, what's going on here? But in the background, you can kind of hear a bit of overreacting, and then that just kind of died down to the point everyone's going, "What the fuck is going on?" And like I was kind of stood near the back with like Kruger and a couple of other guys, and as it went on and on, like I remember Thesaurus kind of come up near us. And he was just going, "Fucking trash! This is fucking trash!" I just kept shouting, "This is fucking trash!" And like just proper, yeah. Like shout out to Thesaurus, he's the coolest in battle rap. But like, yeah, he was just ripping into it loudly from the back of the room. And then people just started clearing off. Like the venue just kind of emptied, like during the battle, and no one gave a shit anymore. Mm-hmm. It was bizarre. It was like really, really bizarre. That was mad as well, because like I've got a photo with Supernatural, and I was like, "Dude, this is Supernat, what the fuck?" And then I was like, he was just kind of chilling outside, and I thought, I can't not speak to him. So I went and spoke to him. I got a photo taken with him. He was like the coolest guy ever. And I said, "Believe it or not, it's actually you're the first battle rapper I ever heard, like you versus Juice." And he's like, whoa, don't say that out loud. I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, these young kids don't remember shit like that." And I was like, "Yeah, but it was amazing." He's like, "Yeah, but I lost." Do you know what I mean? And it was like, I was like, no, you never, you know, being like, you know, the excited fanboy that I was.
Holy shit, man. Like, that's a classic King of the Dot event. So, you know, to have...
Yeah, it really was. And, like, King of the Dot, well, I don't know whether it's King of the Dot or whether it's America, because it was a King of the Dot event in America.
Sure.
But, like, that event was so different to any event I'd been to, like, before or since. Because, like, it don't flop events, like, you know, you've been to them yourself, you know, everyone's just kind of walking around, chilling. People that are battling each other are, like, having a pint at the bar sometimes. And, I mean, some of them don't get on and they're not, like, cool with each other, but there's no, like, animosity or anything. But, like, there, you'd have, like, because it's, like, a big venue. It's, like, this nightclub sort of thing with, like, this upstairs bit and that. And it's, like, everyone had their own camp. So, like, Daylight is chilling with his dudes and he's over there, and then, you know, Arsenal's over there with his, and no one kind of mingled. So all the fans and like people that were just there neutrally like myself, were just kind of walking around between like different areas. It was just like, it was so weird. It was so weird. Like, it didn't have the same, for want of a better term, like the community vibe that like Don't Flop had at the time, where it was like, yeah, everyone's kind of all involved. It was like, nah, I'm not talking to him. I'm not talking to no one. I'm preparing myself, sort of thing. And that's cool. That's whatever. But like, that's where I first noticed the big difference between America and UK in terms of their events. But I don't know whether I've never been to a King of the Dot event in Canada.
Sure.
So I don't know whether that's King of the Dot in general, or whether that's because it was in, because it was in LA and that's their take on things. I'm not sure, but it was a very different vibe. But it was cool though. It was cool to be a part of, as this like, this idiot from Wales just kind of wandering around thinking, what the fuck am I doing here? And everyone's looking at me going like, what the fuck is he doing here? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just this, like, I'm very, very self-aware in that sort of sense. Like, I know that I don't belong in LA at battle rap events, but I'm there anyway. So fuck it, I'm enjoying myself. It's cool. I'm getting photos with like Andy Milanakis and stuff like that, and talking to like Dirtbag Dan about random stuff and all these mad different things that happened and stuff. It was cool, and it was a sick event. Like pretty much every battle was amazing. I think the only one that wasn't was Ilmac.
Ilmac was a bit drunk, wasn't he?
Yeah, but if I remember correctly, I think that is because that battle, was it him versus Arsenal? That wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
And I think if I remember correctly, like, I don't know why, I don't know what was going on, I don't know the politics, but that battle nearly didn't happen, despite them both being in the room. And as far as I was aware, it wasn't going to happen. And then that happened after Disaster Cannabis.
Right.
So, like, Disaster Cannabis happened and the whole of battle rap was severely let down. Yeah. And then you've got that event after. Immaculate was drunk. I think he was kind of under the impression that he wasn't going to be battling that day, and just kind of thought, oh, whatever. So like that kind of ruined that one. But it was cool to be there for it, in terms of, I saw Immaculate battle Arsenal. But when you actually watch that battle, it's like, yeah, it's not that great really. But getting to see like certain people for the first time, because I wasn't really around at the time that like Bender came over for the first. I'd never seen Disaster live at that point. He'd been over, but like I'd not been there. It was in like the earlier days down in London. I didn't really reach many London events until I became a staff member, that sort of thing. So it was like a lot of firsts for me, and that was cool. It was a really good event in that terms.
Yeah, no, again, it's just always interesting, since you've been watching for so long, that you got to grace these things physically, rather than just reliving it for a screen. So it's just, very cool to talk about. But we get back from the, dizzying heights of Bender and Sid Vicious back to Pete Cashmore. And it's quite
a sobering drop in a conversation there.
April Fool's 2012, Concrete. Yeah. I was just there myself for Checkpoint 4. It was a bit more of a more populated time then for Don't Flop. The crowd was rowdy. There's a lot of people there. Like, what were you feeling? I mean, it'd been building up to it for a while, but actually stepping in that ring, was this what battle was this of the day? Was it opening or?
Oh, it wasn't. I thought it would be like the first thing on, like kind of get them out of the way. And like anybody that's battled for Don't Flop will tell you, like, it's so frustrating not knowing when you're on, because like never really kind of tells you. It just kind of says like, up next we've got so and so, like 2 or 3 battles, whatever it is, before the break. And he said like, up first we've got, and I think it was like Toucan versus DK was first, and like a couple of battles, and I thought we'd be before them. And then I think we were like 5th or 6th on or something. We were like kind of near the end, and that just kind of meant that I couldn't really enjoy all the other battles first, because I was too busy shitting myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not used to being in the position where I know I've got to get up and perform. Like, I'm not a performer, and I've never really done that. I mean, I'm generally speaking quite confident and like can speak in front of people, but this isn't speaking in front of people. This is having a battle rap in front of people, knowing you're being filmed and judged, and it's going to be watched by a lot of, potentially a lot of people. So yeah, I kind of like, I think Pete mentioned something like he just kept going to the toilet repeatedly, and like, thanks for that info, Pete. But like, I kind of went once, and I had like a little 8 Mile moment, because I kind of washed my hands, because that's what you do when you go in the toilet and there's other people in there. You wash your hands like as though you whatever. And I am healthy. I am clean, honest. And then like I kind of looked up at myself in the mirror and saw myself, and I kind of just gave myself a smirk. Do you know what I mean? I was kind of like waiting for someone to bang the door. You know what I mean? Waiting for like, yo, you're up, sort of thing, like in a kind of funny way. I was kind of like laughing at myself the whole time, but I was bricking it at the same time because I was like, oh shit, what if it doesn't pop? What if I don't remember anything? What if I get booed? What if he completely destroys me? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like a big mixture of things at the time. There was a lot going on through the whole day that within my head just kept kind of wrapping themselves around each other. But then I remember the battle finishing and just thinking, I don't remember anything that just happened.
Right.
It's like I had like a 15-minute blackout in which I had a rap battle.
Yeah, that's common.
Which, it's just bizarre. Like, if you're gonna have a blackout, make sure it's that kind of one.
Yeah. Or the King of the Dot type. Yeah.
Or the King of the Dot blackout. They're the best.
Right.
But it was bizarre, but cool. It was funny.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny.
It was. Pete has some great stuff in his first. Alex Bentley. You got to give it. Alex Bentley. Like
that's the first time I've ever heard that.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I was like, oh shit. I've got a gay name. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I've never heard. Why has nobody ever took me to one side and said, "Look, your name sounds kind of gay"? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like Alex Bentley. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Bring the slaughter to Wales like a Japanese harpooner.
That's a bar.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's my favourite of all the things he said. Yeah, I wasn't a fan on some of the bits he said. I thought they were a bit generic.
Sure.
About fisting your mum and someone stole my watch, which is just like a replay line and stuff like that. And but he had some funny stuff. That slaughter to Wales like a Japanese harpooner, that was cool.
I mean, he had the whole sort of publication scheme where he brought out his props.
It would have been better without the props.
Yeah. To
be honest, I'm not a props fan.
Sure.
Props gets no props from me.
Okay.
But I've just never have. I've just always kind of thought, oh God, when people pull them out. I mean, he used them well because obviously, I think Guardian was a bit of a stretch for Guardian, but it is what it is. Yeah, he used his magazine props quite well.
And you're writing strong in your first. You sort of talk about spitting it darker than pamphlet chewing tobacco and black licorice, just kind of a scene setter.
Yeah, that was my opener, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Darker than because I kind of thought, right, I need to put, because that at the time that spitting it darker was like a real ongoing, it was like a running joke in battle rap almost at the time. And I thought I need to include it somewhere. Right, I'll start with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll put it in at the beginning. What people spit dark, literally. Right.
Yeah.
Baseball players when they're chewing tobacco and stuff like that. Right. Okay. Let's fit that in. And I didn't think that I'd get a reaction. That was like, just like an opening line bar. But then it kind of got a big laugh after I'm spitting it darker, and I was like, I haven't got to the good bit yet. But then no one really cared about the rest of it. So,
that's true.
Oh, yeah, cool. I'll just take the reaction based off somebody else's line. That's cool. That's cool.
And you sort of take inversions of punches to an interesting degree at the end of the first. The idea of him like buying a bra and cutting the left part off.
Do you know what? That was my favourite bit, and I thought, I don't know if this is funny enough because it's just so weird. Go in a car to a retail park to go buy a bra to cut it in half, throw away the left part, put the rest on your head like the right tit you are. I think that's the only time I used any form of multis in the whole battle. But I just kind of thought, I just liked the insult. Oh, he's a right tit. And I thought, right tit, right, I can make something out of this. And I kind of worked backwards from there. And that's my favourite part. That's the part that most people kind of at the time mentioned. Like they said they like that bit. Because I don't think it's what anyone was expecting.
No, it's strong. It's very strong. And, in the same way that you played off spitting it darker, Pete has his own sort of meta wink-wink reference. Utilising most prob, this is going disastrously.
Yeah, that was quite funny.
Yeah, it was.
That was good. I think at the time, that was really good if you followed battling. But at that time, a lot of people were getting into it. So some people, like I spoke to, like either messaged or at events, like, who the fuck is Most Prob and what was that about? Do you know what I mean? So I was like, it didn't work on everyone, but that was I did like that. I wasn't expecting that when he said I'll either like Most Prob, and then I heard him shouting at the back. I was like, fucking hell, cheers mate, nice one. Ganging up on me here.
I mean, Pete has a lot of good stuff in his second with the gun bars. Ain't one flew over the cuckoo's nest when I nursed the ratchet.
Do you know what? Right, I got that bar at the time because I'm a big Jack Nicholson fan in general. So, and I got that bar at the time, but I got told like later on that he'd asked if you watch that back, you hear like a girl go, "Woo, yeah, Pete," or something like that. I think it's at that point. Because he'd asked them to, because he thought no one was going to react to it because they wouldn't know Nurse Ratchet from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Wow.
And I thought, you sneaky prick, you can't just fucking have plants in the crowd reacting for you. But there we go. But that was a bar. That was a sick bar. Yeah. But at the time, I remember thinking, yeah, that was good. But then when I watched it back, after being told that, I thought, oh, yeah. I think it was Flossie.
Right.
O'Shea's girlfriend, Flossie. Yeah, I'm sure it was her. And I'm sure that's who... Shout out Flossie. I'm sure
I'd like to get Flossie on the show, actually. That'd be quite.
She'd have some stories for you, mate. She'd have a lot of stories for you. Flossie's cool. Flossie's cool. Flossie and O'Shea, I've got a lot of time for.
Oh, man. Yeah, of course. But, I mean, this, going further with the battle, you kind of do your own gun bars. People fear your Uzi. When Pete walks in, all you hear is Uzi.
That's a bar, mate.
Yeah.
That's... I remember I was like, I need to say something with Uzi. What rhymes with Uzi? Uzi. Oh, right, okay. Do you know what I mean? And that's literally the thinking behind it.
Holding a Magnum, not an ice cream.
That's very, very Wizard-esque, isn't it?
I remember. Yeah, it is. Yeah, he had a Magnum bar, didn't he?
He did.
Roll up with the Magnum. Yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
That was your only police record is their greatest hits.
I like that one.
Yeah, it's nice. That is.
I like that one.
Witty.
And there was the I don't drive a van delivering radiators. Right. I bring the heaters, but I don't drive a van delivering radiators. I remember I told my mate that one at that time, and he says, "Mate, you will get booed off for saying that's awful." I was like, "Yeah, but it's going in. It's that bad." You know when I said about I like stuff that's so bad that it's good. That was one of those things that I thought, yeah, I'll put that in because it's awful, but it's funny.
Yeah, no, it works. It works, definitely. And, Pete has some weird imagery in his third. Talks of you being bummed in a blizzard of jizz.
Bummed in a blizzard of jizz, yeah. Cheers for that, Pete. Yeah. Why'd you want to put that image in anyone's head?
I mean, Pete comes with those sort of grown man bars, really, in the third, talking about how it, helped him in a dark place. It's quite moving.
It is. It's not really... battle.
Well,
do you know what I mean? Like
inner battles.
It is what it is. Like it's more an inner battle that he's kind of fighting than having an argument with me. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And I remember at the time I was like, okay, fair enough. Because like I think that like both of our third rounds weren't our strongest, but I think. I just wasn't prepared for that. I was like, he's getting a bit emotional and stuff like that. But Pete's that kind of guy, really. That you know what I mean. He's prepared to come out and say these sort of things. More power to him. And that I just didn't think it was really battle appropriate, really. Which is why I don't think he won that. Well, I don't think he won the battle in general, if I'm honest. But I don't think he won that round, definitely, because he didn't actually say anything about me other than. Bummed in a blizzard of jizz. I think he might be losing his hair, Mickey Worthless, because Mickey had just shaved his head at the time and stuff like that. But other than that, there wasn't really much aimed at me, which I think is what was it Patrick Blaine called him out on in the judging. Shout out Patrick Blaine. But it was funny. I think I had some good bits in my third. I remember I forgot a lot of it though. My third. I can't remember what I forgot now. I remembered it after the battle. I thought, oh shit, I had like about 8 bars that I didn't say there. Which, to be fair, they weren't the best bars anyway. But yeah.
I mean, overall though, where it could have been a bit of a cringy whatever, it's a really good battle. It came out so well.
Yeah, thank you. Like, I'm quite pleased with how it came out because like I said, I'm very self-aware, and I know kind of who and what I am like that, and I know I'm not a good rapper or battler. So to have a good rap battle that kind of, generally speaking, most people were kind of pleasant about. The comments were all, generally speaking, quite good, and the feedback was always quite good. You're always going to get some people like, oh, what the fuck is this? This ain't real rap, blah, 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 blah. But they're just kind of missing the point of battle rap in general, those kind of dudes. Oh, they haven't got a beat, it's not freestyle. Well, it's also not 1988, mate, so chill out. Sure. But like, do you know what I mean? But like, yeah, it was cool. Like, it came out on camera a lot better than I thought it would. Because after the battle happened, I remember thinking, oh no. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you kind of do something and then it's like anything that you kind of do, you kind of think, oh, I hope that comes out all right. Like if you have a job interview or anything like that, you kind of think, oh shit, I should have said this, I should have done that, I should have done, do you know what I mean? And you always kind of think of bars when it's too late and stuff like that. But like, the general reception was really good, like really, really kind of overwhelming almost, because I kind of thought, fucking hell, man, so many people are being really cool about it. And then like, I think it was at that point where I kind of got a bit more respect from battlers in terms of like judging and stuff. Like people were like, okay, cool. Like I don't mind BENTLEGS judging this battle. Because I think before that, a lot of people didn't know who I was.
Sure.
Or didn't care who I was. I mean, a lot of them didn't. Going forward from then, a lot of people didn't care. It was just like, it's just whatever, innit? It's just like a judge. But it kind of, it made me feel like, right, I've kind of earned the right to say that's not good. Do you know what I mean? Or call somebody out on something when I'm judging, not in a bad way particularly, but like, that's probably not the best way of wording it. But I felt like I was in more of a enlightened position to say, well, actually, you could have been more direct there, or you could have done a bit better with this or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Because I'd done it myself, and I was aware that I could have done better as well, and I know what I could have done or said to make it better. But yeah, it's one of them, innit?
And
power of hindsight.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He is a superpower. What is the timeline quickly of like from yourself then battling to? Because like, when do you not become part of Don't Flop? I can't quite remember.
I can't quite remember, to be honest. No. It was like 13, 14. I was kind of a member for like a couple of years, and then I just kind of drifted out. I just kind of drifted out of the circle a little bit. There was no like point in time. There was no specific like, right, I'm going. Do you know what I mean? I was just kind of there, and then I wasn't, and that was that, really. I didn't really like fall out with anyone as such. I didn't, you know what I mean? I just kind of left kind of quietly, really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
I was still a fan. I was still going to events even after I wasn't working. I did go. I've not been for a while. I've not been for a long time now. But I did start carrying. Oh, I did carry on going to events and stuff, and that was cool. But I've said that was cool so many times in this past hour or so. I need to get like thesaurus.com and look up a new word for cool. But yeah, that was really good that I carried on going, and I was. It was excellent and brilliant, and I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it was cool like carrying on going to events afterwards. And I think after being involved, you kind of see it differently, and you kind of see it a bit more for what it is. Because when you're so invested in it, it's like, I think that could be where a lot of the the problems at the minute are. A lot of the problems at the minute might lie in terms of personal issues aside. I think with Don't Flop in general, like it's on like, it's obviously in its darkest point that it's probably ever been in. But I think that there's no outside perspective that's included in it anymore. I like to think that that's kind of what I added at the time, because I was very aware that like I'm literally just a fan that kind of got lucky, and there's a lot of people that kind of knew that and thought that about me, and I saw it as a couple of comments on things. Like, I never really responded to hate comments and stuff because I just kind of found them funny. But I did see a couple of comments like, oh, he's just a dude that turned up and helped out run the merch stall at To The Test 10, and now he thinks he's this, and this. It's like, well, I did help run the merch stall at To The Test 10, but it's a bit more than that, mate. But you know what I mean?
Right.
But I like to think that at the time, that's kind of what I was this like fans insight. for the league. Because like I remember at the time there was a lot of comments like, "Oh, you should do this battle. Why isn't this battle happening? Why isn't that battle happening?" So when I put the Liverpool event on in, I think, 2013, I was like, "Well, do you know what? You fucking pick them then." Like, right. And I don't know if you remember, like, it's not been done since, I don't think, where I just literally spoke to a load of battlers. I was like, "Right, who's up for this?" And there was like 6 battlers, and I just kind of gave the website. There's like
I was at this event actually. I didn't realize it was this Liverpool one. Yeah.
Yeah, that Liverpool. Oh, in the Dome. Were you there?
Yeah. Most Prob Marlowe was there, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I was pre-Battle Rap Resume, far pre.
Yeah. Oh, you've been going for a while then, man. That is.
Yeah, a little while. Yeah, man.
That event, I literally put it to the fans and said, well, you pick who battles who. They're all down for battling each other. So we'll have a poll that closes on this date. So they've obviously got time to prepare. It's not like an ongoing poll where, oh, it looks like Big J's battling Most Prob, so better start writing them bars. Oh, no, Marlowe's taking over. Do you know what I mean? But, so I just kind of thought I'll do something a bit different and I'll kind of make it as fan-orientated as possible. I'd give them what they want to see, literally, because they've picked the battles. Plus, it makes my job easier because I haven't got to try and get opponents for each other. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I like to think that's kind of pretty... When I say thing do, I think that was my role. Yeah. Like doing things like that kind of never really took off, which is probably why I don't work for them anymore. But there we go.
And I mean, like, you know, presently, are you still much of a battle fan? You said earlier that you sort of went on a bit of a binge out of nowhere, so you're not like a regular sort of...
Yeah, I've always kind of kept an eye on it from a distance. I kind of distanced myself a while ago when I got a bit bored, to be honest. And I went through a period of not watching a battle for like 12, 18 months or so. And then I just, because I'm still friends with quite a few battlers or people from the scene, and some people that I'm not like friends with, but comment on each other's Facebook stuff now and then to kind of, that's how the world works these days, right? So, people like Tony D and O'Shea and stuff like that, they post stuff and I'd comment, and then I'd think, oh, fucking hell, I missed those two. I'm going to watch a battle. And then I kind of got back into it a little bit, and then I kind of went through a phase of only watching battles that I knew I would probably like, because I was kind of like, well, I know what you're getting with an O'Shea battle, which is you don't know what you're getting, which is why it's brilliant. Or you kind of know what you're getting with Tony D or Shotty or Unanimous or whoever it is. It's like, right, that's going to be a good battle probably. So I'll watch that one. And I kind of didn't really give many new people much of a chance. And I know that that's kind of a harsh thing to say, but I think it's because, like we said earlier, I'd watched so many tryout battles and judged so many that I just thought, do you know what? I'm just not that interested. And I kind of feel bad for that. And I kind of have gone back recently through stuff and given new people that are big now or have been big recently and kind of gone, do you know what? Actually, they're quite sick. I missed the boat there. But I kind of watch British battles. I watch King of the Dot now and then. If it's someone I like, if it's somebody like Roan or Thesaurus or somebody like that, then I'll watch them. And that's pretty much it, really. I've not been to an event in a while. I've not been to any of the smaller leagues. I've been asked to battle on a couple of the smaller leagues, and I'm just not that into it. Not, no disrespect to them. No. It's just I'm just not that into battling or being a battler at the moment. Well, at the moment, I probably am. I'm probably more like more now, kind of thinking.
Dub Scandal, are you listening, guys?
Shout out Dub Scandal, Sheffield, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like now, I just kind of think, because I know I've seen like Liam saying that like, oh, there'll be something coming soon, and I kind of think, if it's all the old dudes, we could have like a trip down memory lane. Do you know what I mean? Like that sort of vibe. I think I'd be quite up for that, but I don't think, to be honest, realistically, I don't think I'd battle again. But I'm more kind of thinking, it's not like I want to. I'm just kind of thinking, could I now? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's changed a lot. If you think, like, my battles like 5.5 years ago, it's a long time. Which is why I was so surprised that you kind of asked me to be on, to be honest. Right. Because I was like, I've not been relevant for time. Like, no one cares.
It's about history, man, and import.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I mean, let's wrap up a few quick fire questions. Just
Okay.
top of the head style stuff. Favorite Don't Flop battle?
O'Shea, Tony D.
Yeah, I mean,
And every time I watch that battle, because I didn't judge that, I was there, but I didn't judge that. But every time I watch it, I change my mind on who I think won. That's the one battle I kind of go to. If I meet somebody new, because I meet new people. Like I've moved to Sheffield now. I don't live where I'm from originally, so I meet new people and they kind of ask and stuff like that. And I'm like, right, watch this battle. This is the one. This is cool. So that's definitely my favorite. And to see it live as well was amazing.
Yeah, no, completely. And what about King of the Dot?
My favorite King of the Dot battle?
Yeah.
Probably Pat Stay Holohan.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is probably the most picked King of the Dot battle. I've asked so many people now, and there's a reason why.
Yeah, it's just that battle, isn't it? It's like that go-to battle for like grudge match sort of, brothers to enemies sort of thing. It's just like, it's so watchable and so awkward at times and so entertaining, and it's just brilliant. It's a great battle.
URL?
I've never really watched that much URL. I'm not even going to lie. I've never been able to kind of get on board with it, because like for me, like the key word was always entertainment. Like Don't Flop entertainment, and like URL just didn't entertain me that much.
Sure.
Because it was so. I mean, it is what it is. It's no disrespect to anybody on there at all. It's just different to because I'm very much like a British humor kind of person, so like you don't really get any of that there, and it just never really interests me. I've got a gun this big and it goes like that and blah 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? It's like Roadman Shaq battling. Do you know what I mean? Right. Yeah, and like Roadman Shaq could kill it on URL. That needs to be set up.
That could happen.
But that's I think that's what I need to make happen. I need to get back into battling and get Roadman Shaq on URL. That's be my sole aim.
That's a good goal.
But yeah, I never really followed URL. Like I watched it in bits and bobs, and obviously there's some are better than others. But it just didn't interest me in the same way that King of the Dot and Don't Flop did.
And what about your favourite film?
The Shining.
The Shining, yeah.
Anyone that knows me knows I'm a Shining geek. I've got like Shining tattoos. I've got like my arm's got a lot of dot work, and it's got the carpet from The Shining.
Wow. Like
that's like the background to my sleeve, basically. So yeah, The Shining. I'm like a big Kubrick geek. So when I heard Bagnall and Ark were talking and they said about Kubrick, I was like, yeah, talk about Kubrick more.
Yeah. Shout out Barry Lyndon.
Yes.
But
Barry Lyndon.
A final question: your favourite musical artist or band that are in no way hip hop related?
Do you know what? Right, I was kind of wondering if anyone would ask about that, because a lot of people in like battle rap were surprised if I mentioned it, because I never really did. But like, I listen to a lot of music that's not hip hop related. Like I've mentioned briefly, like I've got like a Sick of It All tattoo. I grew up like a hardcore kid, going to hardcore shows and elements of punk and metal and stuff. I mean, my favorite artist of all time is Mike Skinner. Like in any way, shape or form, whatever it is he's doing, whether it's the streets or the DOT or the darker the shadow, the brighter the light that he's doing at the minute is amazing. But I suppose that's sort of hip hoppy in a way. Outside of that, favorite ever is either Joy Division or a band called Another Breath, who are like this hardcore band from America that in like the mid noughties were like my favorite band. And then they did this album called The God Complex, which was just all about the singer's like weird relationship with, is he religious or not, sort of thing. But it was really good. Really, really good album. And like bands like Wisdom in Chains and like Knuckle Dust are like UK legends and stuff like that.
All right, awesome, man. No, always interesting, and I appreciate you have all that post-hardcore influence as well, or hardcore in general. So it's kind of cool to see the pics. Yeah,
I'm actually doing a hardcore band at the minute. I'm literally starting up a band. I was in one years ago when I was a kid, and it was like a piss take, beat down sort of band. But this one we're kind of like trying to do it properly. Like, not properly, because I don't take anything seriously really, but like yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to be writing again. In terms, like, you know, when you said about writing, I've not really done much writing for a while, and writing lyrics and stuff for that, because I'm going to be lead vox. It's not really singing.
Sure.
Lots of shouting and jumping about like an idiot. So that's quite fun. That's going quite well at the minute. I'm looking forward to kind of releasing some bits and bobs and playing shows again.
And I guess finally, man, how do people get at you? Your Twitter, you know, social media, etc.
It's just at BENTLEGS on everything, or just Alex Bentley on Facebook. I used to get loads of friend requests from random people, and then they'd message me like, "Oh, you voted for this and you got it wrong."
Right.
Cool, cheers, thanks. I remember a guy did that in the street. Like, that's the difference now. People used to care more about Don't Flop in a way that like even the battlers didn't care as much as the fans used to. Because I remember I judged Tony D versus Archaic, and I'm going on a tangent here. We're trying to wrap up. Sorry, but yeah, like Tony D versus Archaic. I remember I think they fucking always made me go last in judging if it was 2-2. And until I said the words, I didn't know which way I was going to go, and I voted for Tony. And I watched it back, and I agree with that decision. But after the battle, like, some people were like, "No, I think Archaic won. He was better and whatever." And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. You think that? Good for you. Like, whatever. And this guy approached me in the street like weeks later when the battle had come out. He's like, "You fucking got that wrong." I went, "What? Who are you?" Like, what did I get wrong? And he's like, "Oh, that battle." I was like, "What battle?" Like, I don't know who you are. Who are you? Just some random guy grabbed me in the street and he just started having a go at me because I should have voted for Archaic. It's like, "Oh, he was so much better," and this, that, and the other. "You're just fucking riding Tony's dick," and this, that, and the other. And I was like, "This is really odd, mate. I'm literally just walking, eating a sausage roll, drinking a bottle of Fanta, like chilling, and you just grabbed me and done this. Like, what the fuck?" But even Ark wasn't like that. Like, the next time I seen Ark, he was like, we had like a 45-minute conversation about New Balance trainers or whatever it was. Do you know what I mean? And like, he was really safe for me and really cool. And like, shout out Ark for not having a go at me like random fans in the street did. But yeah, like, that was mad. But yeah, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. My Twitter's not really interesting. I just rant when Everton are playing and they're playing shit. Sure. And then my Instagram's just pictures of like my dog or whatever I'm doing. It's not like, you know, like a lot of battle rappers and people are doing loads of cool shit, and I'm just kind of living life and being happy and enjoying it, which is cool. Yeah. Cool by me. Cool, yeah. Cool is the word.
No, it's all good.
That far too many times, but yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, BENTLEGS, thank you so much for coming on, man. This has been great.
Thanks for having me, mate. That was cool.
It's all good.
Brought back a lot of random memories.
Yeah, that's what.
Keep remembering random things that I should have mentioned and I never.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good, man. But yeah, follow BENTLEGS and all that stuff. Follow us at BRR, Patreon, iTunes, all the stuff I mentioned before. Check the description as well. But BENTLEGS, finally, thank you so much, bro.
No problem. Thanks for having me.